Hi, my name is Biz McGarity. I'm from the Navi Yoga Center in Philadelphia. We're going to begin to offer some home practices for you in this time when you might not be able to get to your yoga studio. This class is going to be a basics class, suitable for a lot of different levels of yoga practice. I'm going to offer some modifications as we go through the practice. I've got blocks. You're welcome to use some blocks. If you don't have blocks, be creative. Find something that's about that shape if you need a little extra help or extra length in your arms or your legs. We're going to begin today's practice with a nice breathing exercise. Come to a comfortable seat. You can, if the floor isn't comfortable, feel free to sit on a chair. But you want to be able to sit up nice and tall while you do this. You're going to close your eyes. Take a big deep breath in through your nose. And then exhale softly out of your mouth. Do that again. Take a nice big deep breath in through your nose. Exhale softly out of your mouth. If it feels okay, you're going to do that breathing in and out through the nose. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Keep going. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. As you inhale, think about getting bigger, feeling expansive, opening up the body, filling up. Exhale, you kind of recede back into that starting position. Inhale, I feel my abdomen and my ribs expand. Exhale, everything comes back to its starting point. Let's do that again. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. You can keep going like that, counting for that beat of 4, or maybe even taking it a little bit longer, a beat of 5, a beat of 6, trying to have inhale about the same length as the exhale. Or if you'd like to continue with me, we're going to try a little bit of breath retention. So think about that inhale, 2, 3, 4. At the top of the inhale, hold. Just take a pause. And then exhale out, 2, 3, 4. Bottom of the exhale, hold. Like you're holding yourself empty. Pause. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. All right, close your eyes if they aren't still closed. And just take a moment and notice how you feel. Kind of really getting centered in your breath, feeling the expansiveness of your lungs, and just noticing how when we go through these breath practices, it's a really good way to connect with our body, and also it gives our mind something to think about, especially in times of high stress and anxiety. It's a good way to set yourself up for practice. We're going to keep breathing in and out through the nose and start to add some physical postures. So from here, if you've been sitting cross-legged, go ahead and switch your legs. If your hips don't like cross-legged, you could always go nice long legs. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. Exhale, let's twist. Bring your right hand forward, your left hand backwards. Inhale, lengthen your spine, get nice and tall. Maybe look over the back shoulder. And then exhale, come back to center. Sweep the arms up again. You're going to twist in the other direction. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, see if you've got a little more room to twist. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, come back to starting. We're going to shift. We're going to come over to hands and knees. So the heel of your hand is right underneath your armpits. Knees underneath the hips. Let's move the spine, starting with the hips, ending with the head, and making sure we sync up our breath. Inhale, tailbone goes up, belly drops down, open your chest, look up. Exhale, tuck your tailbone under, pull your belly button towards your spine, drop your head. Inhale, tailbone lifts up, belly drops down, look up. Exhale, tailbone tucks under, lift your belly, drop your head, look back. Inhale, this is cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, one more time round. Go into that cat pose. Maybe curl your toes under, lift your belly button towards your spine, drop your head here. Even though you're holding yourself in this shape, can you breathe? Inhale, exhale. On that inhale, I kind of feel myself expand. Exhale, pull belly towards the spine. Feel those abdominal muscles engage. Inhale. Good. Exhale, relax. Shift your hips back towards your heels. Bring your forehead in the direction of the ground, coming into a child's pose. Feel that compression between your belly and your thighs. Take a big deep breath in here. Exhale, let the breath out. Good. You can rest here whenever you need to. If child's pose doesn't feel comfortable, maybe try it on your back or just take a seat. Heading into downward facing dog, you're going to curl your toes under. Draw your hips back. Feel where your shoulders are. Feel where your arms are in space and see if you can kind of rotate your arms in your shoulder sockets. So if you bend your elbows, they point backwards. And so you feel some more work on the outside of these shoulder blades. We're going to curl the toes, lift the hips, come into downward dog. I'm starting with my knees bent. If my knees were straight, it kind of flattens out the low back and puts a lot of weight in my shoulders, which is why I'm keeping the knees bent so I can get my hips really far back in space. Maybe pedal out the knees a little bit, wake up the backs of the legs. Big deep breath in here. Exhale, walk your feet towards the top of your mat. Good, nice deep forward fold. Think about that child's pose. Belly towards the thighs, drop the head. Inhale here. Exhale, let your breath all the way out. Inhale, slowly roll yourself up to stand. We're gonna find mountain pose at the top of the mat. So weight is kind of halfway between the balls of the feet and the heels. Standing up nice and tall, but try not to lock out your knees too much. Hips are lining up with the heels, shoulders over the hips. Draw your shoulder blades towards one another. Think about lifting from the chest. Crown of the head lifts up to the sky, so the back of the neck is long. From here, inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. Exhale, bring your hands through heart center, fold. Bring your hands onto your shins. Inhale, lengthen your spine. You're going to bring your hands to the floor. Step your left foot back, coming into a nice long lunge. So I'm going to grab the blocks here. Your choice whether you're using blocks or not. I've got my front knee right over my front ankle. I'm pulling that right hip back in space and the left hip forward so I feel some action in my inner thighs. Inhale, extend your spine here. And then exhale, we're going to move that front leg in the direction of straight. It might not go all the way to straight. Inhale, drop into that lunge, lift your chest. Exhale, pull that leg back towards straight. One more time. Inhale, bend into that lunge, lift your chest. We're going to switch the placement of our hands. So your right hand is going to come to the inside of your foot. So you can see I've kind of moved this leg out. My hands are on the inside now. I'm putting that back knee down on the ground. Inhale, lift your chest, lengthen your spine. And I'm going to take a twist. Right hand is coming onto the right thigh. Twist, look over the right shoulder. Big deep breath in here. Exhale, unwind. Bring your hands back to the floor. We're going to move this outside leg. As you inhale, let that knee drop out to the side. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, drop it out to the side. Exhale, pull that knee back in. One more time, drop that knee out to the side. Exhale, pull it in. I'm moving my blocks out of the way. And I'm going to step back to downward facing dog. From here, I'm going to inhale, come forward. High plank, top end of a push-up. Let's bring the knees to the ground. Keep your toes on the floor. Bring your chest forward, draw your belly button towards your spine, and exhale all the way down to the ground. Once you get down, uncurl your toes. Bring your forehead onto the mat. I've got my hands on the floor, wrists kind of in line with the bottom of my rib cage. Draw your shoulders back in space. Inhale, lift your chest, then your head, small cobra. Exhale, go back down to the ground. Lift the chest first. Draw, inhale, chest, then head. Exhale, come to the ground. Draw the shoulders back. Inhale, lift chest, lift head. Exhale, press back through tabletop into downward facing dog. Take a nice slow deep breath in here. Exhale, let the breath out. We're going to the other side. Inhale, lift that left foot up. Exhale, you're gonna bring your left knee forward, step it up in between the hands. You don't have to make it up there in the first step. Again, I'm gonna use the blocks. You're welcome to put your hands on the floor or not. So, getting into this lunge, knee over ankle, I'm pulling my left hip back in space, my right hip forward. I'm extending my spine here. Exhale, I'm gonna move my left leg towards straight, pull my left hip back. Inhale, drop into the lunge. Exhale, left hip moves back. Inhale, come forward into that lunge. Probably a little more stretch on the top of the back leg. Exhale, as you straighten the front leg, more stretch through the back of this one. Inhale, come forward. Let's switch the position of the hands. You're moving the hands inside that front knee. We're bringing the front or back knee to the ground. Extend your spine, lift your chest. Took a little twist. Left hand on the left thigh. Look over the left shoulder. Take a big deep breath in, get as long as you can. Exhale, see if you can twist a little deeper. Come back to center. Exhale, let that left knee drift out to the side. Inhale, bring it into center. Exhale, drift it out. Inhale, bring it back into center. One more time. Then go ahead, bring that knee into center, lift the back knee, step up to the top of the mat, fold. Soft little bend in the knees, belly button towards the thighs. Inhale, you're gonna roll all the way up to stand, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands through heart center, coming back to that mountain pose, feeling nice and tall. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Bring your hands to your shins. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, we're gonna step back, one hand the other, coming to, or one foot then the other, coming to a plank. And then we're gonna put our knees down, and we're gonna lower all the way to the floor. So I want everyone to come onto their forearms, toenails are on the ground, legs are long, my elbows are right underneath my shoulders, my hands are in front of my elbows. I'm pushing down into the ground and I'm drawing my shoulders back in space. This kind of opens up the chest. You should feel some stretch through the front of your body. Notice if your shoulders are up by your ears, you're moving them back and down. Breathe here. So this is Sphinx pose. To add a little bit of stabilizing work to this Sphinx, we're gonna curl the toes under. We're gonna keep our knees on the ground. Keep thinking about this chest extending forward. Push into your knees, lift your belly up off the floor, like a little forearm plank. Chest forward, belly button lifting, knees and toes press firmly into the ground. You should feel your abdominal muscles working a lot in this position. Inhale here. Exhale, go ahead and put yourself on the ground. If that feels like a lot of work, stay there. If not, we have an option to increase the work. Start in that Sphinx pose. Toenails are on the ground, chest forward, shoulder blades back. Curl your toes, push into your knees, lift up. Notice my hips aren't going higher than my shoulders. From here, I'm just gonna lift my knees off the ground. Really, nothing's moving except my legs. Find that, breathe. Inhale here. Exhale, put yourself back on the ground. Uncurl your toes, lift your chest, big deep breath in. Exhale, we're gonna press back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right foot up behind you. And then exhale, step your right foot forward towards your hands. We're gonna come up into a high lunge. Just like that other lunge with our hands on the ground, I'm bringing my left hip forward, my right hip backward, and creating some stability. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. Exhale, find prayer hands. Take a big deep breath in here. And then we're gonna put that back heel down on the ground. Shift your feet a little so the front heel kind of lines up with the back foot. Think about dropping the hip of the back leg as you lift the front of the hip of the front leg. Arms come out to the side. This is warrior two. Feel really strong in your legs. Push down as you extend your spine up nice and tall. Inhale here. Exhale, we're gonna straighten that front leg. Come forward, lean, get long. Find triangle pose. Right hand comes on the shin. You can use a block here too. Rotate your upper body back. Good, and then come up to stand. Rebend that front knee. Find that warrior two again. We're going side angle. Right forearm onto the right thigh. Left hand reaches overhead. Sink your hips, lift your heart. Sink your hips, lift your heart. One more time. Then we're gonna come back to that warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Turn your right toes in to face the same direction as your left toes, and then take a nice deep forward fold. My toes are kind of pointing in a little from my heels. Hands are on the ground or blocks. Inhale here. Exhale, we're gonna come up to stand. Let's just go right to the other side. Turn your left toes out. Trying to square your hips towards that long side of the mat. Shoulders pull back in space. Exhale, we're gonna bend the left knee. Notice if the hips kind of shift. We're picking up the left hip, dropping down the right hip. If you feel anything in your knee, you can kind of soften the bend or soften the knee a little so it's not locked into the straight position. Arms come up. Feel strong in the legs. Push down as you extend the spine up nice and tall. From this warrior two, we'll go into triangle. Straighten the front leg, which is your left leg. Reach the left hand forward, and then go ahead and bring it down. Left hand on the shin, right hand goes up to the sky. Put weight into the ball of that, or that left big toe joint. Pull your left hip back. Think about spinning your chest up to the sky. If this bothers your neck, by the way, keep looking down. Inhale, we'll come up. Exhale, we'll refine that warrior two. From warrior two, we'll head into side angle. Left elbow on the left thigh, right hand reaches. So this is the general movement. Hips go down, heart lifts up. Breathe here. Inhale. And then exhale, we're just gonna turn, face the back side of your mat. Take a big deep breath in here. Your choice. You can lower down with knees or without. Come all the way to the ground. Uncurl the toes, come back up into that Sphinx. We'll do one more, just like we did on the other side. Draw your shoulders back in space. Lift your chest up. Feel the stretch across the chest. If you feel a lot of contraction in your low back, just think about drawing your belly towards your spine. I like to think of it as if I'm putting on a pair of pants that are a little too small. Hug the two front sides of your pelvis towards one another. We'll curl the toes under. Push into the knees, lift the belly. Keeping the hips in line with the shoulders. If you've got the strength, you can lift your knees up off the ground. Breathe here. Good. And then we're coming to the ground. Uncurl the toes. Just take a moment, take a pause. Bring your head down. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay, now we're gonna bring our hands back by our shoulders, curl the toes under, press up, downward facing dog. We'll go in reverse order this time. Inhale, lift the left foot up behind you. Exhale, you're gonna step that left foot all the way up, or not quite all the way up to the hands, so a little bit shorter than our warrior stances, and then bring the right heel to the ground. So you're coming up, my feet are a little closer front to back, but I have a little bit more space left to right. The intention is both legs are straight. Right hip pulls forward, left hip pulls back, so I'm squaring my hips to the top of the mat. And I'm gonna bring my arms out to the side. Turn your thumbs towards the floor, bring your hands behind the back. You're shooting for grabbing opposite elbows. You might end up grabbing opposite wrists. And getting back into the pose. Extend your spine nice and long. And you're gonna exhale, fold forward. As you do, left hip comes back, right hip comes forward. I'm trying to stay long in my spine. I'm not falling over. Get really long and see how far you can fold. This should feel like a lot of stretch. through the back of this left leg. And then we'll go for a twist. I'm gonna put my left hand on my left hip. My right hand is reaching for the outside of my right leg, and I'm turning towards that left leg. Big deep breath in here. Exhale, unwind, push into the floor. Come on up to stand, and let's just turn it around. Go the opposite direction. So you're gonna have to shift your feet a little bit. So you've got that space left to right between your feet. We're squaring off our pelvis towards the top of the mat. So now left hip's coming forward, right hip's going backward. Chest is open. Inhale, sweep the arms. Turn your thumbs down. See what you can grab behind your back. Opposite elbows or opposite wrists. Exhale, fold. Think about the left shoulder dropping down towards the right foot. Pull your hips back in space, lift your chest, nice big stretch through the back of that right leg. And then we'll release our arms, left hand's coming down, rotate your spine, right hand's finding the hip, pulling the right hip back in space. Inhale here, exhale, unwind. Hands to the floor, we're stepping back. Big deep breath in here, again, with or without knees. You're gonna exhale, lower all the way to the ground. So how I keep ending up lowering off the mat. Here we go. Back into that Sphinx. Chest is open, collarbones are wide. So we're gonna add on to that little plank session that we did. Hopefully after those pyramids, the backs of your legs feel like they got a nice stretch. We're gonna try a dolphin pose. Shoulders draw back in space, chest lifts up. Curl your toes, keep your knees on the ground, lift your belly. Good, so my hips are in line with my shoulders. On an exhale, I'm gonna lift my knees. Stay here or come back down to the ground. Or start to walk your feet towards your elbows. As you get here, you're thinking tailbone towards the sky, belly button towards the sky. Heart back towards my feet. Again, feel free to keep a little bend in your knees if that makes it easier to hold this pose. Walk your feet back. Find the ground. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, make a little pillow with your hands, rest your forehead. Just take a breath here. Let's bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Push into the ground, lift up. Child's pose. Come to hands and knees. Curl your toes, lift your hips, downward dog. Now let's take a little walk. Feet towards the top of the mat. Soft bend in the knees. Roll on up to stand. Good. So let's play with our balance a little bit here. Let's start with the basics. Tree pose. So you're gonna put your weight in your left foot. Actually, before tree pose, we're gonna go even further back into the basics. We're just gonna check balance in general. So notice, if I stand left and pick up my right knee, I'm really trying not to shift my trunk at all. Thinking about those abdominal muscles that engage, that kind of hug the two sides of the pelvis together. I have a little bit of a bend in this standing knee, so I'm not locking out. I'm using a lot more of the muscles of my legs. I'm lifting my right leg, and look at that. I can open my right leg out to the side and bring it back to center. Try that. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, bring it back to center. One more time, open it up. Exhale, bring it back to center. Let's do the test on the other leg. By the way, if you're already falling around, find yourself a wall so you can give yourself a little bit of extra support. Abdominal muscles are engaged, shoulders drop down, ribs are lining up right over the pelvis. I'm lifting my left knee up. And then I'm opening and closing. And I'm trying not to shift my hips too much when I do that. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Got it? All right. So let's add a little more balance. Let's make this our actual tree pose. Stand left, pick up the right leg. Rotate the right knee out to the side. You can put that right foot on your inner calf or your inner thigh. If you're going for the thigh, try to get above the knee. Open up your arms to the side, get nice and big. Inhale here. Your choice, prayer hands. Whoops,
See, it's really hard to balance. Prayer hands, or maybe sweeping the fingertips overhead. Notice if you're kind of locking out in that standing knee, keep it soft. I'm pushing my standing leg into my floating leg, and vice versa. Belly draws towards the spine. All right, from here, we're gonna bring that knee forward, come down, let's try the other side. Same rules, you wanna really get into that standing leg. Feel stable in the abdomen. Lift the knee, open it out to the side, your choice, calf or inner thigh. Chest is open, collarbones are wide, arms go out. Inhale, big deep breath in, take in space. And then exhale, you're doing prayer hands or hands overhead. Good, notice if there's a lot of movement in your foot. Try to spread the weight out on your foot and feel like you're getting some help higher up in that leg. Use the upper thigh and the butt muscles. Hands come to heart center, knee comes forward, bring that foot down. Okay, you can do the exact same tree again, or we'll add a little side bend to it. So back to standing on the left foot, I'm picking up my right knee. I'm opening it out to the side, and I'm gonna find that connection. Make it a really strong connection. As I push my legs together, I feel lots of work through the hips. Inhale, bring your arms up overhead. My right hand is gonna grab my left wrist. I'm gonna get tall, and I'm gonna take a little side bend. And I'm gonna fall over, just like you might. Come back into it, find that side bend. Breathe into these ribs really big. And then come up to center. Right knee comes forward, switch sides. Stand right, pick up left, open. Find that connection. Inhale, sweep your arms up. My left hand's grabbing my right wrist. I'm taking my side bend here. And I'm doing a lot of work with my legs. I'm really pushing my right hip out. Right inner thigh is working. Left outer hip. Inhale, come up to center. Exhale, hands through heart center. Fold. Bring your palms to your shins. Inhale, lengthen your spine. I'm gonna turn sideways. Hands to the ground. Step back. Downward dog. Big deep breath in that downward dog. And then exhale, knees to the ground. Belly towards the thighs. Drop your forehead. Child's pose. And then we're gonna slowly walk our hands up and start to play with a couple of backward bends. We're gonna start with a camel pose. I like to use a block for it, but it could be anything. You can just put a towel between your legs. If you put that block between your knees, you've got something to squeeze on. So we really turn on the inner thigh muscles. Notice if your feet are touching. I want a little bit of space between your feet. Squeeze into that block and just try to get tall. Bring your hands to your hips, kind of pushing the butt down a little, lift your chest up. Squeeze your elbows towards one another. As you do, feel your chest open up. So we're not letting our low back really arch a ton. We're trying to stay tall and actually arch the upper part of the back. We're also not leaning back. That's a whole different exercise. Stay tall. Elbows squeeze in towards one another, lift your chest. Some people can drop their head way back. Others will get dizzy. So keep your face forward. Use the muscles in the butt, use the muscles in the inner thigh to create stability, and maybe see if you've got more room to go back here. If you feel like you have a lot of room, you might be able to catch your heels. Big deep breath in, feel the chest expand. Exhale, come on up to stand on your knees. Sit back down. Take the block out from between your knees. We're gonna do one more just to experiment, see how that feels different. I want you to still pretend like that block is there. You're kind of hugging it in, and then we'll go up and back, just like we did before. So come on up. Tops of the feet press into the ground. Low spine is long. I'm pulling my elbows together, lifting my chest. Tugging the tailbone under. And again, if you have the space, maybe you're going a little deeper here. If this feels like a collapse into your low back, don't go any further. Come out of it. Inhale, chest is open. Exhale, come up.
Shift those hips back to the heels. Walk your hands out in front of you like you're going into child's pose, but then we're gonna change our mind and walk our hands over to the left. Drop your head down. Drop your right hip down so we get a nice big stretch through the outside of the right low back, outside of the right hip. And then walk your hands over to the right. So now we're gonna get that same stretch through the left side. Left hip drops down. Left shoulder drops down. Breathe in here. Exhale, come back to center. Good, from here, just shift up. And we're gonna come to sit. Legs long out in front of us. If your hamstrings are tight, feel free to sit up on a blanket. Bend your left knee. Bring it in as close to your ribs as you can get it. Inhale, extend your spine nice and tall here. Good. Twist number one. That right elbow is gonna hook around the left knee, and you're gonna twist, look over the left shoulder. Inhale to extend the spine. Exhale, see if you've got any more room to twist. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, see if you've got any more room to twist. Good, big deep breath in here. Exhale, unwind. We're just gonna switch sides. So I'm drawing my right knee in, just getting it in as close to my right hip as you can, as close to your ribs as you can, then sit up tall. Left arm is wrapping right, and I'm twisting. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, see if you've got any more room to twist. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, twist. Good, one more here. And then go ahead, come back to center. We're gonna do one more twist on each side. You can do it the exact same way, or if you wanna try to get a little bit deeper, you're gonna take that left foot, cross it over the right leg. Inhale, extend your spine up. Left hand is gonna support you. You're gonna take your right elbow, bring it to the outside of that left knee. Twist. You might even be able to go even deeper and kind of take that long leg and pull it back. Wherever you are, you're dropping this hip down, extending the spine, ribs towards that left knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Let's do the other side. Right leg's coming up. You might cross it over. Extend your spine here. You might tuck this left leg back. Left elbow is coming across the outside of the right knee, twist. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale, see if you can twist a little deeper. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, see if you can twist a little bit deeper. One more big deep breath in. Exhale, come back. Uncross your legs. So we're gonna bring our feet on the floor, about hips width distance apart. You're gonna bring your hands behind your hips, about as wide as the mat. You can do your fingers pointing out, away from center, or if you feel like your wrists need some stretching, maybe turn those fingertips towards your hips. Draw your shoulders back, lift your chest up. We're going into a reverse tabletop. Exhale, press. Good, now a lot of people tell me when they do this, it's all in their arms. So I want you to think about weight towards your feet and really get the backs of the legs working hard in this pose. I'm trying to get as straight as I can here. It's not like some sort of abstract table. It's a table. You want to be able to rest something on this. Elbows pull back, chest lifts up, breathe here, big deep breath across the chest. Exhale, go ahead and come down. We're gonna do one more. You can do it just like we did. If your wrist bothered you, you can come down on your elbows and try to lift this way. Last option will be a reverse plank, which is gonna be legs long. Your intention is to try to get your toes to the ground. Big deep breath in here. Exhale, lift up. Again, this should be a lot of leg. I'm pushing my feet into the ground, feeling work through the backs of the legs so I can lift my hips. Breathing. Trying to stay calm even though I want out.
Inhale. Exhale, go ahead, come down. Pull your knees in. Just like we're going back into that tabletop, except for not. We're going into a boat pose. Grab the backs of your knees, lift your chest, lengthen your spine. Pay attention to where your spine is in space. You don't want it overly arched or overly rounded. It's kind of like mountain pose. You just happen to be on your sitting down. Draw your shoulders back. If you've got the strength, we're going to lift the toes. Inhale, extend your spine. Exhale, imagine you could squeeze your knees together and you could kind of close that space between your two hip creases. If you feel stable, do this with no hands. Collarbones are wide, chest lifts. I'm not sure how good the graphics are on this video. You can see it's starting to get a little hard here, a little shake. Inner thighs squeeze together. I'm trying to close the two sides of my pelvis. Big deep breath in. Exhale, extend out, come to the floor. Lift your arms up over your head. Good, take a slow, easy breath here. Exhale, let it go. One more slow, easy breath there. And then as you exhale, bring your knees towards your spine. You're gonna roll yourself up to sit. I'm just gonna move over here a little closer to the wall. You're gonna come to lie on your back. Hips right up against the wall. And then send your legs up. Open your arms out wide. Good, take a big deep breath in here. Exhale, let it go. You might stay just like this, just relaxing, legs extended long up the wall. If you'd like one more hip stretch, soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. Check in with your breath, especially after those planks and those boats can get a little reedy, a little agitated. Go back to the very beginning of practice, where we took a long, slow, deep breath in, and then exhale, let that long, slow, deep breath out. Extend your legs back up to the sky. And then we're actually just going to bend the knees. So we're kind of bringing the knees towards our chest. I want you to try to keep your shoulders on the ground. You might bend your elbows kind of like goalposts. We're just going to let both feet and the legs fall over to the left side, but they're still kind of pressing against the wall. Getting a nice big stretch through the outside of the right side, all through this hip area. Big deep breath into the right side rib cage. And then exhale, let that breath go. Do that again. Big deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. We're gonna walk our feet over to the other side. So now the feet are on the right and I'm stretching out my left side. And I'm paying close attention to the sensations along those left ribs, left back as I breathe. Go ahead and walk those feet back up to center. One last time, extend the legs long. Maybe give the toes a little wiggle. The ankles a little roll. Good, then from here we're going to bring our knees to our chest. Roll over to one side. Make your way back up into your mat. You're just heading over to the mat to set up for Shavasana, your final resting pose. I'm going to grab the blocks one more time. Use them as a little bit of elevation underneath the knees. Coming down onto the mat. Take a slow, deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, let it go. And you can stay here as long as you need to. Just let the eyes soften.
Let the breath soften. Maybe move into some sort of a meditation practice from here. The end of practice is when you determine